Hey writers, welcome to our instructional video for lesson 4, writing moments that matter. Our objective for this lesson is I can write about moments that really matter when I learned something important about myself, others, or life. Go ahead and copy that down in your guided notes. So what we've done so far in this unit is we looked at what are the components that go in a memoir. We also looked at an example of a written memoir and looked at how the author wrote that. In the last lesson, we talked about some possible topics for writing your own memoir. If that lesson was kind of leaving you unsure, like I don't really know what to write, especially looking at a blank page like this, for me, it can be kind of intimidating. Like I don't always know what to write and I get worried, what am I gonna write if I'm gonna mess it up? So what we're gonna go over today are just another approach to choosing a topic and really gonna help us choose a moment that matters. And when we choose a moment that really matters, it will help strengthen our writing. All right, so here's this chart again. We looked at this chart in our last instructional video. This is meant to help us generate ideas for writing memorable moments or moments that matter. So when is the first time you did something? When is the last time you did something? Oftentimes, these moments can be really powerful because they can be moments that we realized something important. A place that matters to you or a person that matters to you. And then, like I said last time, these two, if you learned a lesson or realized something important about life, these are what really makes your writing focus on something that's meaningful. But sometimes these come after I've really thought about my topic. So I'm going to show you how I worked through this writing process. All right, so I know that with memoir writing, our goal is to write about something very memorable, something really meaningful, and something that mattered. So if I ask myself this question, what are the moments I can recall when I realize something important? Well, that question for me is not really easy to answer. I really need to think. But I know that often the moments when you come to understand something, that those moments are pretty emotional ones. So instead of that question, it can help to think about a time when you have felt a really strong emotion and learned a lesson as a result. So for me, there was this one time I'm remembering and I was like super, super overwhelmed. I was super anxious. I was overwhelmed and anxious. I was trying to fix things and I didn't listen to my dad. So it was part of the reason that I was feeling this way is because I got in a tricky situation. And when my dad found out what happened and I had to tell him, he just looked at me and he stayed really, really calm. And he said, "It's okay, we'll fix this, I can help you." And I can still remember like his response and how peaceful I felt after that. And in that moment, I realized that that I'm always going to have this with me. I realized that even though I don't always listen to my dad and I make bad choices, like my dad is always going to be there to support me. So that was my lesson that I learned. So again, by thinking, kind of rephrasing my question and focusing on a time that I have felt a really strong emotion, and then thinking, bringing myself back to that experience, and then thinking, what was it that I learned in that moment? I was able to come up with this story this thing that happened to me, which was the time I was overwhelmed and anxious after I got in a bad car accident. And my dad stayed calm and he reassured me. And then I realized he would always be there to help me, even though I didn't always listen to him. All right, so let's get more ideas going for your memoirs. I want you to do this in your on a piece of paper with a pencil. You're gonna make a chart, and these first time, last time, times I realized something that came from the chart that was just a few slides back that was titled Generating Ideas, Memorable Moments. So make a list for yourself, some first times that you did things, some last times that you did things, times that you have realized something, and go ahead and look over what you come up with. Circle the one or two that have the strongest emotions to them, the times that you can think, in this story here, I learned a lesson. So do that in your own notebook now. So just now, I kind of went over 2 different strategies that could help you generate an idea for your memoir by making sure it's a moment that really mattered. We have this, like, first focusing on emotion and then a lesson that you learned, or just making a list, looking at all of them over and then circling the one that, again, that you think had the strongest emotion or had the strongest, like, lesson that you learned at that time in your life. So you used either one of these strategies. So you did one of these, and now what I want you to do is just share one of your topics, the one that you think you're gonna write about. Share your topic on the Padlet, which is linked on the note right here. It's gonna pop up. All right, writers, it is time to get started. It is time to go write. Again, like, I just want to reiterate how much I really love memoir writing. This is a time for you to reflect on something really important that's happened in your life. So think about that moment again. Bring yourself back to that moment and write about it. This is where we grow as people, by looking at our life experiences and revisiting them. I'm really excited to read what you all come up with. Go ahead and start drafting in your writer's workshop journals. And remember to add detail, add dialogue, really bring your reader into that moment. We'll go over more of these strategies. Do your best. I'm so excited to read them.